Scaramouche, Bull Durham. And
it's my favorite movie of all time, by the way.
Yeah, I think there's a line in the movie, pardon my French, never fuck with a streak. Right? And, yeah, if I'm hearing you correctly, it's like, look, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah. No.
Chairman, do you deviate at all in this regard?
It's a nice dilemma should it arise and when it arises, because you're right, there's some good chemistry going with the team. There's several of us down the pub today, and the topic of Lamella came up, and is he going to make it? That's still out there. Is he going to make it? And some may still say so, but I think he proved again today when he was battling in the corners, particularly when we were under a little pressure from Villa once they got one back. And he worked his socks off at that point, trying to keep possession and get the ball upfield. And obviously he played a pivotal role in the third goal. And would I say he's on blazing form right now? No, but he's not as inconsistent as he probably was last season.
Right.
I think Eriksen is back to where he used to be. He didn't seem to go missing. He was always in and around the action today. And, you really can't fault Musa right now. He's come back into the side as if he had not got away after that injury. So it does not bode well for those folks who are going to be returning from injury. Because let's face it, Chadley, other than, I think, a goal here or there, had not been consistent enough. Son was just starting to get into his groove, and rumour has it he'll be back for Anderlecht. So whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench, it would be nice to at least have him on the bench for Sunday should we need that option when we're 4-0 up.
Yeah, and while we're talking about Villa and the players in the rotation, big congrats to Josh Onuma. First Premier League minutes and was quite effective. If you to speak truthfully about it, 18-year-old kid coming in off the bench with the likes of a Townsend and whatnot still sitting there. Maybe that's why Andrus was a little pissed. But you want to get Josh Onuma, and when he comes back from Rangers, our young striker who's on loan over there, Nathan Ottawa. You want those guys on the pitch as much as possible to get those minutes.
Why not? Was Ng on the bench today?
He was not.
No.
I wonder what's that. Okay, I wonder whether he's injured.
Fazio was though.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Wait. Wimmer wasn't, but he was.
Correct.
Interesting.
That just might be a raw save for Europe.
Hey, I got a question for the both of you, and I'll try and make a quick question to get a quick answer. But if you were a scout, you're a scout, right? And nobody knew about Lamella, and you've been scouting him, and you had to describe him to the manager. How would you describe Lamella? Pluses and minuses.
Simon, go ahead. I got to think on this.
Well, I can't ask you that question. I mean, for God's sake, you love him. I mean,
well, I just kind of went through his season so far. Yeah. So
just an unemotional description.
Listen,
sign him, not sign him.
If I'm a scout,
I thought you said you weren't going to answer.
I'm not going to answer. Go ahead, Simon.
You're gonna answer.
I'm going to answer, but I'm going to let Simon go first. Go.
Oh.
Right. That's just it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being dead serious. I mean, that's just it. I mean, that's your first thought.
If I'm a scout, you have to understand that he has to be in a system because that allows his flair player, quote unquote, part of him to be able to blossom. He is.
How do you do? I know. I mean, I understand. I agree with you. How do you do that?
You have to implement the system has to be built almost around that kind of style of play, which with Pochettino, fortunately, to a sense, it is. Under AVB, it was not. Under Sherwood, it really wasn't. Oh man,
right.
Frustratingly effective. How about that? He can be so frustrating at times, but at times, moments of magic. And I'm sorry, hardest working guy on the pitch. Almost every single match. Not for kilometers traveled or anything like that. I think actually Dyer has been logging the most kilometers traveled on the pitch according to the stats. But Lamella's second or third every time. And for as frustrating as he can be, and if he does lose possession, he's always fighting back to go get the possession back. And when someone needed to step up after Villa scored today, he was the one that stepped up and put it into another gear, held possession of the ball, fought in the corners, as Simon was alluding to earlier, and then took a nice pass from Ottawa and made a great cross to Kane, who just absolutely laser beamed a shot into the upper right-hand corner to
nice.
solidify the match.
Fricking laser beams.
It was indeed.
If you're a scout, do you bring him in to this squad now, knowing what you know today? That's an interesting question. And listen, there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of opinions on Eric Lamela. Either you love this kid or you do not. There is no, well, maybe I'll see what happens. I'm going to sit on the fence for a while. No. There's either people who dislike him.
I'm in that little section.
You're in.
I am.
You're in the what?
I'm on the fence still.
I am too. Tell me why are you on the fence? What is it about him that puts him on the fence for you?
Because he's quietly getting more consistent. He seems to be getting a little stronger and knowing that he just can't fall over and expect to win every foul. Mm-hmm. He does not get the credit for his backtracking and his defensive work, and he's quietly going along getting these assists. He may not be getting the goals that we all want, but he's getting the assists, and that's just as important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that means we're scoring goals off him.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
So if that continues, then I won't go necessarily to the I love him camp, but I might just get down off the fence.
Yeah, you make some, well, both of you made some really solid points there. I think
I always do, mate.
Well, that's true. But think of it this way, because I think what it is, we're sort of a victim of those times where he does just something just unconscionable, just some sublime stuff like the Rabona, right? So so there's this, you add that with the price tag, and I think we have some unrealistic expectations. But I was asking myself today, I was like, is he an influential player? And at first blush, I thought, well, no, he's really not. But then I thought, no, a lot of what you both were saying, he's one of the hardest working guys on the team. I mean, his defensive tenacity. I mean, he's an utter C-word at times, but he's our utter C-word at times, and he's chippy as can be. He does some kind of mean-spirited stuff. I think I pointed out what he did with Schlupp in the Leicester City match. And then he has, not odd, but then he has these moments of real clarity and forward movement and outstanding passing, and he'll get that assist or two, and you're like, well, I don't really remember him doing much, but yeah, he kind of played a role in that match, making tackles, making passes. So
that's what he's doing.
I'm on the fence as well, but there are days where it's just like, if Lamela's injured, I'm not really that arsed about it. But then defensively, I actually am, because I don't think we have a winger that we don't have a winger that plays as
Townsend
as tough
doesn't do that. Shapley does not do that. Son does not do that.
Yeah, he's the best defensive
attacking player.
Yes, I think he is.
But you know what's really sad? Every time Lamela does something, or if we're in the pub, we all say, "Oh, bet Ken's pissing his pants right now."
Yep. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Kenny is the fanboy.
But he does appear, to your point, Simon, it does appear that he is settling in, having a better understanding of the English game. And there was an article, and I can't remember who did this a couple weeks ago. He said, it's a bit ironic. He goes, I've never wanted to leave. I've been excited since the day I got here. But the day I got here, everybody's been trying to run me out the back door.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think that's a point we continually have to make. He was hardly present in his first season. Yeah. So this is really, it's a season and a quarter. Maybe he played, 10% of the first season before his injuries. Mm-hmm. So he really hasn't played a lot. And I think we just look, it's his third season, so he should be some, worldly wise veteran. Well, he's not. He's still a young lad.
Yeah, he's still a kid, yeah.
Yeah.
When you talk about the third season, the interesting twist on that is that it's now his third year living in London. And has he acclimated himself? It looks like when you see him horsing around with the guys, Kane scores a goal, he's always the first guy there to give him a hug. Or almost anybody else that scores a goal. He seems to be much more a part of the team instead of just one of these 7 outsiders that we gave up Gareth Bale for. I never really saw that from a Paulinho or really from any of the other guys that we've had to sell off, Capu or anything like that. I think he's finally getting settled, for lack of a better term, with living where he lives. His family is still around him. He's getting a better grasp of the English language, and I think it's just helped him immensely. Third year in the country, I think it makes a big difference that he's been able to last this long, and it's showing on the pitch.
Yeah, a player that was rumored to be out of the door towards the end of the summer transfer window, and
to France or some shit like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't think that'll be even. I mean, assuming that he carries on for the next month, I don't even think that'll even be up for discussion at all. Not even debatable. He won't be transfer bait. All right, sorry. I was just kind of curious about it. I was kind of thinking about that earlier today. Anyway.
You have any other listener questions? Do you want to go ahead and knock them out?
Yeah, I got one from the West Coast, and I just got to figure out where it is. Hang on one second. Hey, Chairman, by the way, did you kick the Arsenal playing?
I did. I removed 3 players that, despite consistent warnings, persisted with their Arsenal inclusions in their fantasy team. Mm-hmm. And they are no longer part of Dallas Spurs.
Excellent. Excellent.
Certainly not going to help me move up the table.
No. You and I are battling
that's
for
That's probably the
Aston
most places
Villa.
I've gone up the table in 1 week, because I had to eject 3 people.
All right, here it is. This was an interesting question, actually. Somewhat unrelated to Spurs. I'll leave this up for grabs. It's from our friend Oside Hotspur, Matt Downey.
Hey.
Would you want to take over a team after a sacking to manage a team as deep in relegation of a battle as Villa is?
Interesting point. I don't know if you caught this during the match. I think it was the effort that went wide of the post. I think when Hugo came out and was flapping around and Davies, that incident, I think Gestad flashed it wide of the post, and it went to the director's box as it had done throughout the game. Yeah. It was like the Klopp love affair part 2. And I guess the 2 directors that were flanking Remy were holding their heads in disbelief, and his expression was the same as it had been the minute the game started. Not one time was there any expression on his face or any emotion. But we were just pissing ourselves laughing. You had these 2 guys, heads in their hand, thinking they could have equalized, and he's there going, "What the fuck have I done?"
Yeah.
You think they get relegated?
Oh, absolutely.
You really do? I think they have too much quality. I don't think they should be that bad.
Listen, I think losing Benteke and Fabian Delph has destroyed that locker room. Did
you notice Bondahor in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, they subbed. He was terrible. They subbed him off.
I was being sarcastic there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, well, I think certainly can. I mean, that doesn't help, right? Two of your better players, two of your best players, for that matter. But
come on, they've got Alan Hutton, for Christ's sake.
Which, by the way, that was my biggest disappointment today, is not seeing Alan Hutton being Alan Hutton. Like, have you seen that clip of him playing for Scotland, where it's one of the funniest fights ever. He's going up the right side, he's just blazing up the right side, and he goes to take a step, but his right foot never hits the ground until he falls and trips over his right foot. And he trips over so bad that he literally, you've got to just go Google Alan Hutton stumble, and his arms don't catch him, and he lands just completely on his face. It is one of the funniest things ever.
But it was funny, we were talking about him, how good he was at Rangers, and then he came to play for Spurs.
Alex Ferguson wanted to sign him. Alex Ferguson is a tremendous player.
But he did win a League Cup medal.
Yes, he did. Third match with Spurs, right? Just the third match in?
Something like that.
With Pascal Chimbonda on the other side.
Yeah. Right? Considering they were both right backs.
You know what? The one thing I did notice about that match today, though, with Villa, when you have brand new manager sitting in the stands like that, you always get worried. We talked about it last week. Oh, here we go, second home match in a row, new manager syndrome that we're going to have to fight through. They looked lifeless. Jordan Ayew came in, and he was the best player on the pitch for them, it seemed.
Yeah, no, he was.
He'll be in the starting 11 next week, I think. At least he was taking chances, and right foot curlers and that showing some speed on the pitch, they looked lifeless. Like